A very good evening and a warm welcome to your weekend edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Zeenat Musafir, joined by our news interpreter for tonight, Taraka Gabriel, via Zoom. Let's first take a look at your headlines for today.
COVID-19 burials will only be permitted following the issuance of guidelines, says Director General of Health Services. President says the inoculation process of the COVID-19 vaccine is carried out systematically. Ruling party expresses dissatisfaction over the Commission's report on the April 21st attacks.
අපිත් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ මේ ප්‍රහාරයේ එල්ල කිරීම පිටිපස තියෙන හස්තය පිළිබඳව මීට වැඩිය තොරතුරු අනාවරණය කියලා.
මේකෙන් කවුද වින්දිතිය? ඒ අයට පිළිගන්න පුළුවන් දෙයක් එපා අපි ලබා දෙන්න.
Severe extraction of gravel in Dorotiyava, Kurunegala. More environmental destruction report. Body of the student who went missing in Badula recovered.
On to your top story tonight, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says the inoculation process of the COVID-19 vaccine is being carried out in a systematic manner. The President expressed these views while participating in a Gamma Samaga Pilisandara program held in Kulekad area in the Trincomalee district.
The program was held at the Kulekad village in the Adampane area in Gumarankadaval Divisional Secretariat Division in the Trincomalee district. The head of state was briefed about the issues faced by the people in the area. Subsequently, the President attended the village forum which took place at the Kulekad village.
The COVID-19 pandemic is the biggest challenge we are facing at present. When compared with other countries, Sri Lanka has managed this health crisis well. We have commenced the COVID-19 vaccination drive in line with the systematic process. During the past few weeks, various views were expressed on the rice and paddy supply in the country. When I was elected as the president of this country, I provided fertilizer to all farmers free of charge. I set a certified price limit of 50 rupees of paddy. At one point, I remember how farmers took their lives by consuming poison due to the absence of a proper pricing mechanism. But today, we have paved the way for all farmers to sell their paddy at a price above 50 rupees. When I spoke to the farmers of this village, they told me that they sell a kilo of paddy at a price above 50. In certain areas, the price of a kilo of damp paddy rice exceeds 60 rupees. I do not mind this, as this increases the farming community's income in line with our government's policy of building an economy driven by agricultural demand. There is no point in cultivating paddy or corn if wild elephants destroy them. The government, in its 2021 budget, have made a large allocation for the construction of elephant fences. Generally, people do not visit rural areas such as this. May it be the presidents or politicians, even the secretaries are too busy. This is why I decided to visit this area. Yesterday, I reaped the harvest of the ginger and turmeric plants I cultivated in my garden. The harvest was plentiful. As far as I know, farmers who grow turmeric are always blessed with abundant harvests. This is how we should generate income instead of importing from overseas and spending billions of US dollars.
මේවයින් තමයි ආදායම ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. අපි වෙනද පිටරට වලින් මේකට බිලියන ගාණක් වියදම් කරා. ඩොලර් බිලියන ගාණක්.
Save Rambakan Noya.
Protecting the environment is as important as protecting our very own lives, because our survival and the survival of our future generations depend on the quality of our environment. Deforestation, large-scale rock quarrying are all ways in which our environment is being destroyed. When we speak of environmental destruction in Sri Lanka, we cannot forget the damage inflicted on the Rambakan Oya ecosystem. In the immediate aftermath of this destruction, residents of a number of villages, including Pulebada, are already facing an increase in wild elephant encroachments on their villages.
The path taken by elephants through the Rambakan Oya is no more. Private companies have erected electric fences as they please to surround their plantations. Newsfirst correspondent Buddhika Sanjeeva visited a number of villages, including Pollebadda and Dumana, to take a closer look. Local farmers sit at fire through the night to protect their fields from wild elephants who encroach on their cultivations.
The Mahaveli Authority has handed over to private companies land on which elephants used to roam. Those companies have erected elephant fences surrounding their plantations. No one can enter them. Because of that, we are the ones who have to suffer. We cannot save our fields. We cannot protect anything from the elephants that encroach on our villages. Our fields are being destroyed with each passing day. We toil day and night for this. We go to take care of cattle in the afternoon. These companies have erected their fences in a manner that leaves the road to our fields clear and open. Now we have to stay awake at night.
The village of Dumana, lit by the rise of the sun, is truly a sight to behold. The lives of the people who live here, however, paint a very bleak picture of life in this village, mainly due to the increase in encroachments of wild elephants.
9 wild elephants came to our village last night. We couldn't chase away the elephants because of the fog. When all 9 elephants reached our fields, they don't go away easily. These animals are encroaching on our villages because they destroy the forests on the other side.
Marauding wild elephants destroy hundreds of acres of cultivations in this area. The people in the area, who toil day and night to nourish their cultivations, in the end are only left with a sight of destruction.
We brought up our children amid many untold hardship, but now we cannot even send them to school because of these wild elephants. How can we live like this? We are not paid any compensation. No official comes to see us. The Mahaveli Authority is responsible for all of this. There is no one to look into our plight.
This is an area located in Doratiava, Kurunagala, where large-scale gravel extraction takes place. Although gravel extraction has been taking place for almost a year now, locals allege that the gravel extraction in recent times has destroyed the surrounding ecosystem in an unimaginable manner. According to locals, the extraction of gravel had commenced for the construction of the Central Expressway.
Though certain factions involved in the extraction of gravel have obtained licenses to carry out their operations, some are carrying out operations in an illegal manner. This has destroyed the ecosystem in this area. They have dug approximately 200 feet into the ground. This is where the Waduru River is located. The mass-scale extraction of gravel has led to a water shortage in the area. The authorities have not demarcated the area on which the extraction operations should be carried out. If this continues, our houses will be affected in the near future.
The Mallagoda village provides shelter to more than 500 families. This village that was once blooming with greenery is now dried up due to the water shortage they are facing.
This village was once filled with trees, but today everything has dried up. On one hand, they are excavating the gravel, and on the other, stone quarrying is destroying our village.
Even the Vatakoluvala that begins from the Huriagolla Forest Reserve has dried up due to the environmental destruction that is currently taking place. The Mallagola Drinking Water Project, which was established to provide drinking water to 400 families, is now dysfunctional.
This water stream supplied water to 400 families. It only provides water to 150 families.
The mass-scale gravel extraction in the area has affected the ecosystems in the villages of Mallagoda, Doratiava, Kahatapitimulla and Boralua.
The lorries transporting the extracted gravel travels across our village every day. Our children are in danger and they are always sick because of the dust from the gravel. Meanwhile, the illegal clearing of the Bogapita forest in the Dahayagala Reserve, which belongs to the Udavalavere National Park, has not ended yet. A group of civil society activists, including the Secretary of the National Bhikkhu Front, Venerable Vakmulle Uditatero, visited the area today. This is how various groups have marked the boundaries of the reserve and even set up electric fences. Several other electric fences can be seen which are made by cutting down trees.
You came and visited us on the 30th of January. I think it is the President who is in charge of this because we do not see any effort from the Minister of Environment. They are fooling us. Sarath Veerasekara is fooling the people of this country. He has given us telephone numbers to call if we see any type of environmental destruction. Why don't you come and take a look at this? You are the ones with aeroplanes and drones. So come and see. We saw how the Defence Secretary Kamal Gunratna had to admit things. We believe it was what President wanted to communicate. He admitted that people are destroying the environment. He has gotten to know only recently. So we ask them not to fool and distract the people. We understand what you're doing. How did you end up so cruel to ignore these acts? They came into power showing numerous policies, but they're doing the exact same opposite behavior. We don't see those kind hearts anymore. Instead, we see cruel behaviors coupled with cruel hearts. We assure you that we will not stay quiet.
Director General of Health Services Dr. Asela Gunawardena says burials of COVID-19 victims will only be permitted following the issuance of the relevant guidelines.
We have had an idea about the process burials. Steps are underway to find suitable burial grounds, following which a relevant committee headed by the President, Subject Minister and Ministry Secretary will be notified. The guidelines will be issued after obtaining approval from the committee.
Views in this regard were also expressed in the political arena today.
The Director General of Health Services says the burial option will not be allowed until a suitable place is identified and the COVID-19 committee provides its final guidelines. Even after a gazette notification was published by the Health Minister, the Director General of Health Services is intentionally trying to create conflict in the country. Forced cremation was implemented in the past, citing no scientific justification. Legal action must be enforced against this matter. The Director General of Health Services will be held accountable if granting permission for burial of COVID-19 victims is further delayed, even after a gazette was issued.
Who has signed this gazette notification? It has been signed by the Health Minister and not the Director General of Health Services. The Health Minister is a politician. How can she provide a recommendation on this matter? This gazette notification was issued immediately after the Pakistan Prime Minister visited Sri Lanka. So it is clear, this decision was influenced by the Pakistan Prime Minister. In our view, this sensitive matter has been used as a tool to gain political advantage. The Prime Minister of Pakistan cannot influence the decisions taken by our government. We clearly informed the public on that time frame during which the health sectors will permit the burial option. The technical committee, in its report, had not recommended the burial option to be allowed. We hope to reduce the number of COVID-19 victims by further expediting the inoculation process, which would ultimately resolve this issue and prevent it from aggravating further. In simple terms, our view is to resolve this problem. The Gazette notification was published late at night due to the pressure from the UNHRC session, where all of its members criticized the Sri Lankan government. This is a shame. Must there be intervention from the international community for the government to make a decision? This government should govern the country complying with international standards. In my view, those who are derived of the right to bury their loved ones should demand compensation from the government. The government waited for a warning from the international community to make such a decision.
According to the orders of the Director General of Health Services, a special team has been deployed to inspect the inoculation process in the Colombo and Gampaha districts.
According to the Director General of Health Services, all sectors have been informed not to allow any person who is not a resident of Grama Niledhari divisions identified as high-risk zones to be vaccinated. He reiterated that steps will be taken to vaccinate other areas and other groups in the future, taking into account the amount of vaccine dosages. The Ministry of Health stated that only those over 30 years of age, permanent residents of the area, and those who can be confirmed as temporary residents in the Grama Niledhari divisions in high-risk zones will be vaccinated. Accordingly, more than 25 Grama Niledhari divisions in the Colombo and Gampaha districts have been identified as high-risk zones.
A total number of 406,633 people have been vaccinated in the country. Meanwhile, Newsfirst spoke to Dr. Chandimuji Vandara, the director of the Department of Immunology and Molecular Medicine of the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura, about the COVID-19 vaccination drive. Once the first Covishield vaccine jab is administered, can a different vaccine be used for the second dose?
So no data available on the interchangeability of doses of this vaccine with other COVID-19 vaccines. It is currently recommended that the same product should be used for both doses. Recommendations may be updated as further information becomes available on interchangeability. However, in Sri Lanka, we have only introduced AstraZeneca vaccine. Whenever you are given the vaccine, you are given a vaccination card, and we have very clearly written the vaccine, the type, and the all the details about the vaccine. So you don't have to worry about whether you will be mixed and matched and also.
To what extent will a person be protected following the first vaccine dose?
This vaccine comes under 2 days dose regime. So it is important that you should follow the same regime and you complete the entire course of vaccination with full doses with the AstraZeneca vaccine. And also the good news is, and we have recent data to show that by the 4th week after receiving the initial dose, AstraZeneca vaccine can reduce the risk of hospitalization from COVID-19 up to 94%. For you to develop the complete immunity, you need to undergo the full 2-dose schedule as recommended by the health authorities.
What is the vaccination procedure for those who have already contracted COVID-19?
Persons with acute PCR-confirmed COVID-19 infection, including those with onset of PCR-confirmed infection between doses, should not be vaccinated until after they have recovered from acute illness and the criteria for discontinuation of isolation have been met. Persons with PCR-confirmed COVID infection may delay vaccination up to 6 months. When more data available on the duration of immunity after the natural infection, the length of this delay may be revised. So it's important that whenever you go to the vaccination, you reveal about the past history of COVID infection to the health authorities.
What we would like to reiterate to the Ministry of Health is not to take a risk during the global crisis situation and to do this calculating for both doses. It is wrong to allocate the second dose for other activities. The ministry tells us this amount has arrived. It's better if calculations relevant to these 2 doses are done by the time they arrive.
Chief Opposition Whip MP Lakshman Kiriyalla has requested that all documents from the 2nd to the 5th volume of the report of the Presidential Commission that probed the April 21st attack be submitted for the debate. The MP said the debate would not be successful without the report. However, this was the ruling party's stance.
Meanwhile, members from the government faction expressed mixed views regarding the report. These were the views of those in favor of the report.
This commission was not appointed by us. This attack did not happen during our time. It took place during the time of Maithripala Sirisena and Ranil Wickremesinghe. This commission was appointed by former President Maithripala Sirisena. The shortcomings of the commission are directed at us. Did we appoint the commission? Remember, they have forgotten the mistakes they made in the past. It is a legal document. The government must act based on the facts stated in that legal document. It is the responsibility of the government. The people will take action against the government if they do not act on it. This cannot be pinned entirely on President Maithripala Sirisena. Did the previous government apologize to the people in that instance, stating that this was their responsibility and that they were unable to stop the attack? They should have at least revealed the perpetrators behind the attack. However, several ministers and MPs of the government faction expressed their displeasure regarding the April 21st Attack Commission report. We expected the Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the April 21st attack would reveal more information about the force behind the attack. Personally, I believe that this report would be complete if it had included information about those who led these extremist groups. We should give them something the victims can accept. I am not talking about whitewashing the wrongdoers, but this report must be a one that can be accepted by them as well. This attack was staged against Catholics. If the Cardinal is saying that this report is not acceptable and if subcommittees are appointed, we feel that there is something wrong with their perspective. This is the stance of the opposition on the report of the commission. They appointed their friends to the Presidential Commission and they got the report that they wanted. We know that there is a massive effort to sweep these things under the carpet, but the general public, including all of us, has exerted much pressure on this matter. So although this government of Gotabaya Rajapaksa came into power through this and India also made inroads into the country, we will not allow this incident to be swept under the carpet. The Cardinal knows that through this act, they are hiding the real culprits behind this attack. Zaharan was a person who was on the stage, but who worked behind the scenes to direct this play. We believe that the person who is responsible for doing something wrong will not come forward and accept what he has done.
මම විශ්වාස කරනවා සහරාන් ගැන මේ හැමෝටම වැඩිය දැන් ඉන්න ජනාධිපති
I believe that the current president Gotabaya Rajapaksa knows about Zaharan more than anyone else because their government accepted that during their time they paid Zaharan and got intelligence information from him. So these people know about him. Did the commission question the current president about this? No, they did not question Sara. So the people who know about the perpetrators better than anyone, including the Secretary of Defense at the time and officials of the Ministry of Defense who paid them, were not summoned to provide evidence at the commission. Sarah Jasmine did not die in the bomb that exploded in Saint-Mardu. She fled to India. How did she flee to India? Why is Sarah Jasmine not being brought back to Sri Lanka? That is because Zaharan's wife said that Sarah Jasmine is the only other person who knows more details of the attack. Because Sarah Jasmine is the only remaining survivor of the group of suicide bombers. But why is Sarah Jasmine not being brought to Sri Lanka? We are now highly suspicious as to whether this government that gained political mileage through this attack was behind the attack. The information must be revealed to the nation.
During a discussion in Jaffna, State Minister of Money and Capital Market Ajit Niwat Cabral expressed the following views.
We are negotiating a swap of $1.5 billion with China, and I think it should materialize soon. And when that happens, there will be a very clear signal given to the international as well as the business community that Sri Lanka is on the path to stability. We have been to a great extent affected by the reduction in the reserves as a result of the last government's misadventures as well as mismanagement. It's good for if your channel can put this. Sometimes your channel doesn't put this part, particularly the Sirasa channel. So Sirasa channel must carry this. In 2014, Sri Lanka had reserves of $8 billion. Then, after borrowing $10 billion, the Yahapalana government provided only $7 billion to the new government. That is why we had to negotiate new avenues. Please tell them to put that, so that they will also know that these were the ways in which country's economy was reduced in stability, but we are going to rebuild it. We are rebuilding it now. and you can be sure that we'll build up our reserves and then make sure that Sri Lanka is on the path to stability as well as growth. So please have that and convey that to your viewers as well.
Dear State Minister, you requested for your comments to be aired on our channel today, and we respected your request. However, we have remained calm and silent, as you are yet to provide answers to the questions that we have posed to you. Shouldn't you take on your laurels the weight of the present state of the Sri Lankan economy? Have you forgotten that it was you who thought it would be prudent to invest the savings of the working people of Sri Lanka in the sovereign bonds of Greece, an economy which had been identified by the entire world as being on the brink of collapse in 2011? Let alone the earnings, the failure to recover even the initial investment caused the country to incur a loss of more than 2,100 million rupees as a result of this transaction. The people of this country have also not forgotten your intervention in introducing a hedging deal with regard to the procurement of fuel. Wasn't it because of this wrong decision that Sri Lanka paid $110 per barrel of crude oil in 2007 and 2008, at a time when the price of a barrel of oil was around $80 in the global market? Eventually, the banks that signed the agreement with Sri Lanka recovered their money by filing a case against the country at the High Court in London. There is also no reason why anyone should have forgotten the infamous pumping and dumping of shares in the Colombo Stock Exchange. Wasn't it during your term as Governor of the Central Bank that the Employees' Provident Fund incurred massive losses by investing in the stock exchange as a result of the pumping and dumping saga, so that a select few could earn massive profits? Do you remember that part of the bond scam during your tenure as the central bank governor? A forensic audit on the central bank treasury bond scam uncovered conflicts of interest during Ajit Niwad Cabral's time at the central bank, as Cabral's family members were directors of primary dealer companies as well as banks under the supervision of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. It notes Shiromi Noel Vikramasinghe, sister of Ajit Niwad Cabral, was associated with the holding company of PTL, Perpetual Capital Holdings Private Limited, as a director from the 23rd of December 2013 till the 9th of March 2015. Please remember, you are not elected by the people, but you are in Parliament by appointment. We challenge you to go before the people and have yourself voted into Parliament, given the facts that we have exposed today. Remember, you can fool all the people some of the time, and some of the people all of the time, but you cannot fool all the people all the time.
The body of a 22-year-old youth who went missing last night while camping at the Narangala Peak in Badulla has been found. The body was discovered on a slope approximately 1 kilometer below the Narangala Peak.
The deceased, a resident of Avisavella, had reached the Narangala Peak with 7 of his friends yesterday. After touring the area, the group had decided to spend the night. Thereafter, his friends had lodged a complaint with the police stating that the youth had gone missing after leaving the tent to use the washroom. The body was found this afternoon during a search and rescue operation carried out by the police and army. Police said further investigations are underway. Considering destruction caused by tourists to the ecosystem in the area, the Pradeshiya Sabha Divisional Secretariat and the District Coordinating Committee of Soranathota had discussed a proposal to name this area as a restricted area. However, a final decision in this regard is yet to be reached. The remains of the deceased were placed at the Badulla General Hospital.
Founder of the Pathfinder Foundation, Milinda Morogoda, has proposed that the government develops a medium-term plan to relocate some of its ministries outside the Western Province.
Milinda Morogoda noted that in the UK, as part of a post-COVID strategy, the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and his Chancellor Rishi Sunak are planning to shift several London-based departments, including ministers' offices as well as part of the Treasury, to Northern England and the Midlands. He added that they are planning to relocate 25% of the civil service jobs based in London to the regions within the next 10 years. He states that Sri Lanka, in contrast, appears to be heading in the opposite direction, with successive governments constructing or leasing expensive government buildings in Colombo to accommodate the state sector. He noted that the government alone employs approximately 1.5 million people and is by far the country's largest employer. Morogoda argued that some of the government's ministries could be moved outside the Western Province. These entities could act as economic catalysts for rural areas and cut down on road congestion. He further said that the fast improving road network, coupled with the fact that most people have become accustomed to working remotely, makes this the ideal time to consider new ways of thinking and organizing our society. As a first step, he suggested that the government should deploy a 10-year plan to determine which ministries should be relocated and the locations they should be moved to.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News. Don't forget to log on to our award-winning website www.newsfirst.lk for more of the latest updates. Thank you very much for watching News First. Good night and take care.